Your four favorites are The Godfather, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Harakiri, and The Apartment. My top choice for you is The Bad Sleep Well, which is a 1960s Japanese film that involves revenge like Harakiri. Plus, Harakiri's screenwriter worked on the script for this film as well. Francis Ford Coppola cited this movie as an inspiration for The Godfather. Like Spider-Verse, a lot of the story is driven by a father-son relationship, albeit in extremely different ways, because in Spider-Verse, Miles struggles to live up to his father's expectations, and in The Bad Sleep Well, the protagonist is trying to avenge his father's death. And like The Apartment, a lot of the story revolves around a corporate office building. This might seem like a weird pick, but another one of my top choices for you is The Princess Bride. Like The Godfather, it's a classic film about family that people are always quoting. Like Spider-Verse, it's an adventure film with plenty of heart and humor. Like Harakiri, it has a story within a story structure and it's about revenge. And it also has romance like The Apartment. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like Spider-Verse, is a groundbreaking animated film. It parodies, subverts, and pays homage to a lot of crime genre tropes that are in The Godfather. Like Harakiri, the story involves a little bit of deception, and like The Apartment, the film is funny without diminishing the protagonist's emotions and struggles. Since you like The Godfather, I could see you being a fan of Once Upon a Time in America, which is another epic crime film that tackles similar themes. Citizen Kane, like The Godfather, is a highly influential film that's often considered the greatest of all time that depicts the rise and fall of a powerful man. Speaking of the rise and fall of powerful men, I was surprised you didn't have Goodfellas marked as watch, because I feel like fans of The Godfather love Goodfellas and vice versa, and they're both about Italian-American culture and organized crime. Speaking of Italian-American culture, I want to recommend Moonstruck, not just because it's about Italian-American culture like The Godfather, but it's also a romantic comedy that takes place in New York City like The Apartment, and like Spider-Verse, Nicolas Cage is in it. The Conversation, like The Godfather, was directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Like Spider-Verse, it examines the notion of personal responsibility. Like Harakiri, the film has a feeling of isolation and calls morality into question, and the story unfolds in a way that reminds me of Harakiri, where we gradually learn information that changes our perception of the film's opening scene. And like The Apartment, the protagonist is lonely and gets caught up in a bit of a chaotic situation because of his job. Wreck-It Ralph, like Into the Spider-Verse, is an animated film where multiple universes come together, except in this movie it's video game universes. Another animated film with multiple universes that I think you'd enjoy is The Lego Movie. The Mitchells vs. the Machines, like Spider-Verse, is a coming-of-age animated film. And The Incredibles, like Spider-Verse, is an animated superhero film. I've recommended a lot of Japanese revenge movies in some of my videos over the last month or two, and I don't want to just list all the same movies since you're a fan of Harakiri, but the one I think you'd like the most is Demons. I know I already recommended one Akira Kurosawa film, but the combination of The Godfather and Harakiri makes me think you'd like Ron because it's a samurai film like Harakiri, but it's also about power and family like The Godfather. Plus, you praised Harakiri's score in your review, and this movie's score is from the same composer. Even though The Apartment is a romantic comedy, it also has a lot of loneliness and sadness to it. So I think as a fan of The Apartment, you might also enjoy Lonesome, Crossing Delancey, and Marty, which also all take place in New York City. And another one I want to recommend that isn't set in New York City is Punch Drunk Love. I know the fact that The Apartment takes place during the holidays isn't why people love it, but it's one of my favorite romance films to watch around Christmas and New Year's, so I can't help but associate it with The Shop Around the Corner and An Affair to Remember.